Coach, while we wait on any questions, if you could take a moment to comment on your team as you enter the Georgia game on Saturday.
Yeah, when you look at Georgia, to me, I see a complete football team. Starting on offense with a quarterback, Jake Fromm, a guy that has tons of experience, keeps them in the right place, takes care of the football, very few negative plays, really big up front, very well coached, play together, play hard, play the right way. At running back, they got multiple guys back there that have played a lot of football. They got really good hands. They're really good. They get lots of yards after contact. And they've got some new wide receivers that are very talented. And so big, tall, lanky guys that can stretch the field and go up and win one-on-one balls, and then they got experience at tight end. Defensively, playing a ton of guys. Seems to be more aggressive, creating more negative plays, sacks. Probably had a few injuries in the back end at some point early in the season, but it shows the depth of their football team by guys coming in and being ready to play, doing a really good job in the kicking game. It's no surprise. Kirby's he's a great coach, got a great staff put together there. They've done a fantastic job since he's been there. So we have a huge challenge this week. Our practice has been really, really, really good. Kids are working hard. Got lots of guys that are kind of coming back, getting fresh off of an off week. So we're excited for the opportunity Saturday.
First up is Steve McGarrick of the Associated Press.
Jeremy Banks' availability, will he be suspended for this game with the footage being out, or is he available Saturday?
As I said before, Jeremy's comments and behavior were unacceptable, and we've addressed the matter internally.
And just that footage came out, that there was a conversation you had with the police during the arrest. How did you feel about the way you kind of handled that conversation? Did you feel that was okay, or did you have any regrets over anything that happened that night?
When you get a phone call at 3:30 in the morning, you're always going to take it. To be honest, when I got the phone call, I had no idea who I was talking to, probably for the first 2 minutes. And by the time I got it figured out, there was obviously some confusion because it was late. But I appreciate the officer talking to me and doing his job.
Thank you.
Next is Jimmy Hines of Sports Radio Knoxville.
Jeremy, in regard to the open date last year, you had one before Auburn. You played really well in that game. Do you feel like an open date is to a great advantage to this team?
Absolutely. We have plenty of opportunity to take advantage of 4 practices. We need it. We're playing a lot of young guys, and we've had to move some guys around based off injury, so it gives them an opportunity to learn their position. It gives you an opportunity to work on future opponents. So we've worked hard this week and to try to take advantage of it.
Thanks.
This is Blake Topmeyer, the Knoxville News Sentinel.
Steve, in that police video, you said that in the 4 places you've worked, you've never had something like this happen, because people usually say something's not right here. Were you saying that police would have cut the player a break in other places you've coached, and was that your expectation for police with Banks?
No, absolutely not. There's no place I've ever coached that anybody's cut anybody a break. The point is the warrant was issued, and it had been issued for 5 weeks or 4 weeks there, and I wasn't aware of it. And that's something that we've got to do a better job to focus on our players, so you don't have a speeding ticket or anything that turns into something like this. So we've got to do a better job as a staff to know what's going on, and that's something we've got to have a relationship to get it figured out.
And then, had you seen that video before the Florida game? And I guess why didn't you suspend Banks for that game?
As I said before, Jeremy's comments and behavior were unacceptable, and we've addressed it, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Thanks.
Next is Wilson Alexander of the Advocate.
Good morning, Coach Pruitt. When it comes to strength coaches, what are some of the things you've seen them do to motivate a team on game day, whether it was unusual or extremely effective?
Well, I think the first thing is energy. If you think in the right way, you kind of play the right way, and I think you have to have mental energy. It starts to me when you get out of bed in the morning. And I think the strength staff probably spends the most time with our players, especially in the off season. So they're around them. They kind of know how to motivate them and get them going, and so I think they're an integral part to every program.
Is there anything specific that your strength coaches like to do to get your team ready?
Specifically in the mornings, I hear Craig Fitzgerald blowing the whistle in the hotel room.
Thank you.
Next is David Pascal, the Chattanooga Times Free Press.
Hey, Jeremy, Georgia's obviously had a lot of success against the SEC East in the last 2+ seasons. When you were at Georgia for those couple of years and the players that y'all were signing and recruiting, did you kind of sense that this was possible, that Georgia could go on a run with the talent it was getting?
Well, I think you talked about the last 2 years, about how much they've dominated, and predominantly most of those players were not on the team when I was there. So, there was Georgia has always been a place that has lots of potential as a program to be really good, and Coach Rick done a fantastic job for a very long time, and Kirby has taken it to another level.
And just what kind of advantage does Georgia have? I mean, you hear stats now where the Metro Atlanta a couple of years ago, I think, put more NFL players in any other metro area. What advantage does Georgia have just inherently being with that state in terms of recruiting basis?
Well, they're in a great state where high school football is important. The education of the kids is important in that state. I think they've done a nice job with facility upgrades and had a good plan there. And if you look in all the schools in the Southeastern Conference, based off the location, as important as high school football is in the South, there's lots of opportunities to recruit really good players. Football is important here. There's passion within each school, within this conference, and some of the other conferences also. So that's why you see, to me, a lot of really good football played in this part of the country.
Thank you.
Next is Grant Ramey of 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, Jeremy, Eric Gray was a little bit more quiet at Florida a couple of weeks ago. What do you guys got to do to get him a little bit more involved? Is that something Florida was doing or something he needs to do more?
Well, first of all, we got to sustain some drives. We had a couple of critical penalties in that game after we made some explosive plays that put us in first and 25s. Eric's got to hold on to the football, and we've got to convert more on third down to give us some more plays there. We have some quality backs and Ty Chandler, Tim Jordan, and Eric, and Carlin Films Ames is coming back. So there's lots of competition at that position, and each week we play the guys that give us the best opportunity to have success.
Thanks.
Going to wrap you up, Coach. Thank you.